Okay, and take two with the technology. Onto the phone. My iPad was being a little silly, but I was just sharing with my mom, who was here, that I got this really cool archetypes oracle deck, and it's been really fascinating to me. I chose one for myself that I'm kind of sitting with all week, and it's really been speaking to me. So I was going to pull one tonight along with the regular tarot reading, and kind of just was going to lean into that and see what wants to come up for us tonight. So I'm just going to shuffle these beautiful circular cards real quick and just see what is present with the collective that we can kind of focus on tonight. We got the idea of, the archetype of the siren. And here we see like a mermaid tail and a red gem. Very interesting. I resonate a lot with mermaid energy. And the siren, as far as I know, is kind of like a mythological female creature in the sea. Oh, there she is. Hi, Mom. So I ended up pulling an archetype, and I got the siren. And so this is apparently what is present in the collective right now. And the siren, from what I'm remembering, is like a female creature who was like very, wasn't it like they were very sensual and they would sort of like distract the, was it like pirates or pretty fishy, sailors, and sort of like call them into the sea and then they would drown. So like kind of maybe this negative connotation of women's power. So I'm not really sure how this will resonate with us tonight yet, or what it is saying to us, but there's also this red, it looks like an egg or a, I don't know, it's definitely like something about feminine power. It almost looks like a period. It almost looks like, yeah, she would call them to death, yeah. So there's definitely here around power and not abusing the feminine power, but having that balanced in a way that we're not harming ourselves or anyone else. So I'm curious to see what comes up in the rest of the cards with this siren archetype that's here tonight. There's definitely a conversation, obviously, around abuse of power. Yeah, the death of the last administration, not the people, just better love, my mom says. Yeah, I've definitely been thinking about the inauguration tomorrow, and yeah, maybe she's Mama Earth, or the feminine energy is angry, and she's making herself heard, and she's ready to show her power. So that is interesting. And yeah, let's pull some cards to see what else wants to come through. Yeah, I've had a really very illuminating week myself. I was mentioning on the beginning of the last video that the card we pulled last week and our outcome was the sun, and we also had a chariot card, and so it was kind of this moving towards clarity and sort of a quick shift into like a deeper layer. And I had a really cool conversation with Phoenix, who's the director of Dancing Freedom, who I've gotten to work with before, and I'm kind of mulling around the idea of having a dance podcast where I get to talk about all things dancing freedom, conscious dance, what it means to really be embodied, why and how we connect with spirit through dance, And I was sharing this idea with my friend Angela, and she and I have been kind of brainstorming, and I think we might end up collaborating and putting something together. So I'm really excited about that. So I've been having like all kinds of clarity. It just feels like this is my life purpose. Like, I've known that. I've had so many amazing experiences and stories that have told me that dance is such an important thing for me to share with the masses. And last night I got to host an amazing dance circle with, I think there were 26 women via Zoom, who I met through this woman, Kayla Getta, who is an entrepreneur, and she hosts like this women entrepreneurs sort of circle. And she contacted me through the Dancing in the Dark 31-day dance challenge that I did in December, and just asked me to potentially share dance with her amazing group of women. So last night, I had no idea how many of them there would be. There was such an amazing group, and we all got to really share what was present for us, and hear and witness and feel and then move together. And it was so cool to see how they just soaked it up like fish. They were just so into it, and such good feedback, and everyone had a really powerful experience. And I think right now so many people just are looking for anything that can help them to shift out of feeling stuck or feeling depressed or anxious. Like, so many people are just having so many of the same patterns come up. And I find that the right music in a safe setting, and really a guided and open intention to really go deep into your body and listen, makes all the difference in the world. So it's pretty powerful medicine, dance. And I'm excited to just talk about it and do more of it and be a bigger part of sharing it. So we'll see what else comes through. Hi, Rebecca. I guess let's get down to pulling the cards. So I'm just going to call on my guides and call on any messages that want to come through today. I'll just ask that I be a clear channel for the collective to have clarity and groundedness and centeredness this week, to help inspire them and uplift, and to bring us all together in a way that maybe our politics can never do, through love and connection and spirit and truth. And we ask this for each of our highest good and the highest good of all. All right, so let's see what wants to come through today. Our anchor card is the Three of Cups, which is like dancing. I just immediately think of dancing with this card. Typically there's three women holding these cups and sharing them and dancing around in a circle, and I just see it so much as like this overflowing abundance that happens when we can celebrate life together, not in a drunken party way, but like when I let my cup overflow into yours and you let your cup overflow into mine, and we share that with another. There's just so much goodness to go around, and so much that it really can change the world. You know, being on a dance floor and having an amazing night spreads so many ripples of love, and it really is so powerful and nothing to be diminished. So I love that came up for us. And that is being crossed by the Seven of Coins. This always comes up for me when it's like there's still more work to be done and to keep digging. So this feels like it's speaking to me. It's like, keep working on this path of spreading celebratory energy and love. So whatever that means to you, if you are someone who works in, an office or in a group situation, you can still bring that celebratory energy to life. You can bring it to your career. You can bring it to your children. You can bring it, and it seems like a strange thing to be doing right now, to be celebrating when so many people are feeling like the world is crumbling and it's strange and strained and it's winter and people are depressed. But I think one of the best things that we can do is start with gratitude. And as we start to celebrate the little things, and even just when I wake up cranky lately, I've just been sitting down with my cup of coffee and I'll just write out things I'm grateful for. You know, it's like the snow is falling and that's pretty. I'm in a heated house right now. You know, I look around, I'm like, wow, I have access to music and I love music. I'm grateful for music. I have cards and inspiration and things that keep me motivated, and I'm grateful for that. And start making those lists. So it feels like, strangely, we're being asked to do the work of celebrating and celebrating life, because the more that we see that as like our work, the more we can create like a real paradigm change in the world. If the work is actually play, everything's shifted. It's pretty exciting, actually. All right, we are being crowned by the Nine of Cups. Again, a very fulfilling sort of championing the work that you've already been doing. And this is kind of like a high five from the universe. In some decks, this card does show up where the guy is sitting with all these, they almost look like trophies behind him, and he's sort of got his arms crossed and he's kind of like harumphing. And he's feeling like all these achievements have brought me nothing. Like he's not seeing the worth in the productivity and the achievements. And I think that's, there's something to be said here about really asking ourselves what brings us true emotional fulfillment. And it seems to be echoing back to the idea of celebrating the little things, being in gratitude. It's like an energetic shift and everything looks differently, but it's an attitude of gratitude. Hate to use the cliche, but I feel like this message is coming up for us again here. So below this situation, we have the Queen of Coins. This is like all about embodiment. And I mean, obviously for me, I'm leaning toward dance, but Queen of Coins is the feminine aspect of deep embodiment. And she is the queen of her kingdom. Like her body is her kingdom. And if you imagine that your body is your kingdom and you are the ruler over it, how are you protecting your body? How are you caring for your body? How are you carrying your body? Are you beloved by your kingdom, or is your kingdom upset with you because you've been throwing garbage at her and not taking her on walks? There's such a call right now to be in our bodies and to get out of our heads. And that is showing up for us through movement, gratitude, and being in our bodies and with our bodies right now. In our recent past, we have the King of Cups, which literally was last week's anchor card, which is fascinating. So last week we were really asked to be with our emotional bodies and to be leaders through that. Excuse me. And I see that coming up for me as I step more into my role, you know, as dance facilitator, but in each interaction, even when I'm not like on as a leader and I'm just hanging out with my friends, I feel like I'm able to help shift conversations that are heavy and support people and bring a healing and an emotional depth because I'm doing my own emotional work. And so that is forefront to what we're stepping into. And I think a lot of that is just acknowledging and being honest with what we're actually feeling, which is harder than it sounds because sometimes it's really confusing. We can feel so many things at the same moment, and we can also simultaneously feel so many different things all at once. So in our recent past, we're having this emotional connection, and for me that's really ringing true. I was wondering if I would share this with you guys today, but I was painting yesterday and I had a really intense experience of realizing I often channel when I paint. I just kind of start painting colors and shapes, and then it turns into something, and it often gives me a message. And yesterday, I'll go get the painting in a second, I was painting and I realized that it was this sort of upside down little flame, and it was being covered by a wave. And that wave had some ripples of fire in it, but the fire couldn't burn. It was like this feeling that I have inside, that every time I start to build and tend my fire, and I feel like it really starts to get going, like a wave comes and sort of crushes it. And it's not a fun feeling. It's really uncomfortable. And I actually was having a really hard time even acknowledging that feeling was there. But it was really cool to be able to have it come out of me onto a canvas and be able to digest it in that way. And then I sort of wrote some poetry about what I was feeling, and then I was able to sort of text with a friend who's very intuitive, and she was able to sort of hold space for me as I just shared, like, this is what's present with me right now. And she didn't have to fix anything. She didn't have to like make it better. She didn't try to make it go away. She just was like, let's breathe into this, and I feel you and I acknowledge you. And that is the King of Cups leadership work. It's not fixing things for people, but it's just being with them in the depths of the emotion and holding that space. See how calm he is among the waves and the chaos. So I'll show you guys the painting. So I actually had 2 paintings come through this week. The first one that I did, this is kind of like the first one that came through. I've been obviously living in Western New York. There's been a lot of gray. And so this is kind of like a picture that I took. I think I showed my mom. I'm not sure, Mom, if it's still you on the call or Rebecca. But there's this gray road. And then there's just like this light at the horizon that seems to happen like in the afternoons most days, and like dark skies. But these colors wanted to come through. So I did the dark gray parts all first, and then these primary colors came through. Not really sure what it means yet. So I'm curious to digest that. If anyone has any insights, very curious to hear it. And then here is the one about the fire and the waves. So as I pull it close, see how this kind of looks like an upside down like fire flame? And then there's all these layers of waves and then fire, but it's muted, and it just was really heavy, and it kept getting ugly, and the picture kept feeling ugly. And what I realized with my friend as I was decompressing with her, I was like, it feels good to just let it be ugly. And then once I realized I didn't need to make it a pretty picture, and I didn't need to package my feelings to make them into some sort of like pretty perfect little whatever, they were just able to be. And I was able to say to myself, okay, that's what I'm feeling. And it was huge. So my phrase for the week has been like, ugly is beautiful. We focus so much attention through social media and pictures and everything, branding. We're always trying to like package everything into these perfect little boxes and like make it look like it makes sense and it's all cohesive and it all flows together and we have our shit together. And you know what? Sometimes we just don't. We don't have it all figured out. And that's what's so beautiful about life. Can we be in the process, in the craziness, in the messiness, and still find gratitude, still find our center, still find appreciation for ourselves, and still love ourselves when it doesn't look the way that maybe we expect that we should look at this age, or the way that we should look at this point in our life. So, King of Cups for sure. All right, we are moving into the Page of Cups. So I love this. So we're sticking with this idea of emotional healing and presence, but the pages, instead of like an outward leadership quality, this is all like inner child work. And so we're moving into this aspect of really being present with our inner child, being and tending the little one inside who has big feelings that maybe were never held. So we're redirecting this energy from giving it to others to giving it to a part of ourselves. And this often can require having someone else support you to do inner child work. Sometimes a therapist, sometimes a Reiki healer, sometimes just a friend to hold space for you as you go into this inner child work is a huge asset. And there's such magic in there, because the child sees life with such a fresh, playful, beautiful, imaginative perspective. And as we go into the inner child and heal those parts that maybe we've disconnected from, not only do we get to let go of some of that trauma, we get to reconnect to some of that magic and some of that play, which definitely is coming up for us today. So there's a lot about dance and being in our bodies this week, and really doing our work, doing this inner child work. You'll have to listen to the previous part of the reading here. And then we are seeing ourselves as, interesting, the Eight of Wands. This is like rapid movement, rapid action. And I know Aya just jumped on here too. I know she's feeling this right now too. You're seeing this destination that's calling you, and you're like, bam, I'm gonna go there. I feel this call, and I'm just gonna trust myself and just go to it. So you're seeing yourself as like this clear path and just going to it. So I'm loving that. Yes. And I'm feeling this too. I'm feeling it come up in a number of ways. I'm actually going to Florida next week, which I'm really excited about. And I'm seeing it in my career and in my artist self, and just on all these different levels. Aya says she's scared, and it's totally okay to be scared. You're still doing it. So that's really all that matters. The feelings are allowed, and the little one is allowed to have all the feelings that she wants about taking leaps. It's scary, no matter what age you are, jumping off cliffs and doing things that you've never done before, and leaving home and trusting your heart and all these things. It's terrifying, but it's also the most rewarding. So it's beautiful. All right, and others are seeing us as the Six of Coins. And this is really that reciprocal flow of energy. Here I see us easily giving and easily receiving. So if it's been a while since you've really received what you're worth, I think that it's others are seeing you as sort of stepping into that flow where you can easily give and receive in a deeper way from an embodied perspective, where you're not faking it, you're not trying to prove anything to anyone. You're just showing up and you're sharing your gifts, and naturally the universe is pouring itself into you as you keep listening, and you keep trusting. So there's really just a beautiful embodied energy there. Hi, Mariah. And our hopes and fears card. Let's see. Queen of Wands. I love all this beautiful dancing feminine energy today. So our hope as the Queen of Wands is to tend to our fire and to keep that fire alive. Care for our own fire first and foremost, because naturally anyone else that we're around as the Queen of Fire, we will instantly ignite their flame as well. But it's so important to listen to our fire, tend our fire, care for our fire. And as our fire starts to dim, know what things actually fuel your own passion and give you that creative energy, and not just let yourself burn out. And it's also honoring the fear of maybe throwing it all on the fire, combusting too quickly, and then burning out as well. So while she is also our hope, she is naturally she's naturally the Siren card. I pulled an archetype card in the beginning of this call, and it was the Siren, and I've been kind of sitting with this, wondering about this. The Siren is obviously very powerful. She would literally lure sailors to their death with her sensuality and her I want to say like gravitas, but like her energy could trick and fool people because she was so alluring. And yet we want to use our power in balance here. There's definitely a light to this and a dark to this, and this archetype is coming up for the collective in general. You know, my mom and I were talking earlier about the idea of the Siren in our political system. You know, the idea of this alluring, red-headed kind of crazy psychopath just lured everyone in and made them feel so beautiful, and then is like trapping them, and it's like this crazy psychopath energy. So in balance, what does that energy look like, and what could be like a healthier narrative for our political system and for our culture? Like, I think so often women do feel like they have to like trap a man or something, or like they have to like show up in a certain way to like look a certain way or be a certain kind of woman to like attract the perfect guy, which none of that really exists, because if he's actually perfect for you, he'll love you no matter what you look like, you know? And obviously you want to like look your best and feel good in your body, but there's a difference between like Coachella, like crazy, look at me, like not even being present in my body, but I'm like, I don't even know how to describe it, like an empty void Barbie robot thing. I don't know if you've ever like looked at someone like that really in the eye and they're just kind of like not really there. So we're looking at this negative energy that sometimes women can use and men can also abuse, and we're finding a way to bring this into harmony, because mermaid energy is dope, and like, you know, the feminine power does not have to be suppressed because it is so powerful. What we need to do is allow it to burn in a balanced way, hence the Mother of Wands or the Queen of Wands here. So I think that, you know, there is a fear of burning too brightly and hurting ourselves and others, but we also need to hope that we burn enough that we can inspire others and that we can shine our light for ourselves without becoming sold out or selling our soul or any of this kind of I don't know, crazy like corporate ladder stuff that kind of then shows up even in the coaching world. It's like, I have to sell more money, or I have to do bigger packages, and like I need to be more, and look at me. And then it's like it becomes toxic itself too. There's definitely like a balanced way to share your gifts and shine your light, and to do it authentically from the heart. And I think the piece that will keep us in balance with that is that King of Cups work, and really listening to the truth of what is inside of us, and not putting on any false facades or trying to hide that, because that beautiful tender, raw ugliness inside of us is really what makes us so beautiful. So I'm curious to see what our potential outcome is. Six of Swords. This came up for me. I pulled this card on Thursday night while I was dancing, or I was hosting this dance circle, and it's the idea of mentally bringing each other to a new, like, safe haven, to a shore of comfort and solidarity and realness and like truth. And I think the idea that's been coming up for me with this card is like, we have to take each other there. There's two people typically in this card, sometimes even three, and typically there's the guy rowing the boat, and then there's a woman sitting in it. And sometimes we're the person rowing the boat, sometimes we're the person sitting in it. But what I'm thinking with this card lately is like, it takes both of them. You know, I think to get from A to B, both people are going to need to do some of the rowing to help each other to get there. And I think right now more than ever, we're all struggling with our mental health and with what is even real in sort of a crazy world, with so much being told to us that's real, and then thinking it's fake in the news. And I think that as we begin to row together and see how much more we have in common, and look at life in that way instead of what our differences are, and especially our differences in our political views, if we can look beyond that, like we're all just trying to get to this dope little island where we can just hang out and dance, which brings us back to the beginning card. The idea of celebration is really present here this week. And so I think we're being asked to start with like celebrating the little things, start with gratitude, start with saying, I am alive and it's a gift. And seeing things in that way changes our whole paradigm, changes our whole reality. And so that is our work this week, that sometimes takes time and effort. It's like tending to a garden, tending to our inner fire. So I feel like tonight is sort of an ignition. I'm sending out these flames to you guys. And so your work this week is to notice, several times a day. You gotta throw a log on the fire. You gotta kind of poke the fire. How's the fire doing? Does it need any paper? Does it need some journaling? Does it need a little 5-minute breath work? Does it need a walk outside? Does it need a little cuddle with the dog? Does it need a call to a friend to get some of that Six of Swords energy, where it's just like, I'm feeling this right now, back to the King of Cups energy, I'm feeling this intense thing, and can you just hold space for me? I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to just listen and just help me to not feel alone in what I'm feeling. And that takes us to this amazing new place. It's still here, but everything is shifted because we feel safe, and we feel that we can express ourselves, and we feel that we are heard, and we feel validated and loved. I love Gayatri's like sending all the flames. My mom says the water is wide. I can't cross over, and neither have I wings to fly. Give me a boat to carry two, and both shall row, my love and I. Love is gentle, love is kind. The sweetest flower when first it blooms. Oh, that's so perfect, Mom. Yeah. Yeah. So, I've been telling this to friends too. I'm like, when political conversations come up with loved ones, just ask, like, can we just set the political stuff on the back burner for today? Can we just not go there for right now? Because the stuff that divides us is not where we need to focus our attention right now. We need to focus on the things that are true and real and in front of us, and the celebrations and the little things and just the joys of being in our bodies and being here. And as weird as it sounds, that is our important work to do, because as we do that, we come up with solutions, we dance into realizations, we come up with a new way of thinking. And I think it's so important right now that we're downloading a new way of being, because the old one's just not working. So let's just call it what it is and just, let her go. So actually, I want to show you guys the spread real quick. So I'll just hold that back, and then I want to pull some cards for y'all. So, okay, so our Three of Cups was our anchor card. That was the dancing card, being crossed by the our celebratory being in the moment dance card, being crossed by, there's work to do, and to just keep tending to our garden, tending to our fire. Crowning the situation was the Nine of Cups. Below was the Queen of Coins. We had our King of Cups and our Page of Cups in the recent past and recent future. So shifting from supporting others emotionally into doing our own inner child work and asking for support in that process. Seeing ourselves as activated and moving forward, knowing our path, really kind of that Chariot energy. Others seeing us as in this reciprocal flow. The Queen of Wands, our hopes and fears, really tending to the fire. And then our potential outcome and our Siren card. All right. So that was a really cool reading. I feel like we got a lot of information and clarity there. At least I did. And I'm just feeling, I'm feeling excited by this idea of like being called to celebrate. Like, that's our work. I like that kind of work. I can do this. So I would love to pull some individual cards. If you would like one, just shoot a comment or like a little heart or something in the comments, and I will pull one for you. All right. Woo woo. Okay. So, Aya, I saw yours first. I'm pulling a card for Aya for her highest good and the highest good of all. What wants to come through? What message for her? Ooh, girl, I got the star for you. This is the guiding light is calling you and asking you to follow it. And I just see you so dancing. Aya does all kinds of silks dancing, and I don't know if you actually do pole dancing, but the star comes after, is it death? I'm trying to think of the flow. No, it's temperance. The star comes out after I need to look at the order, but basically I think there's a really kind of challenging, darker time right before the star. So I know that you personally, what you've been expressing to me just briefly, having communicated with you a little bit, often it's a time of really seeking and asking. And the star comes out as a light of spirit to guide you on your path and to reassure you that all is well, and to, just like the wise men would follow the star, it's leading you. And so to keep asking spirit, to keep reaching out and to keep trusting in the signs and to keep following the light. So I know that this makes sense for you because I was just talking to you a little bit earlier, so I'm excited for you about that. Ooh. All right. And then Mariah is next. Okay. Let's see what wants to come through from Mariah. Asking for a card for her highest good and the highest good of all. Mariah, you got strength. I love this card. And this is totally, it's so funny because I saw this when I was shuffling on the bottom of the deck and I was wondering about it. When like I'm shuffling, I'll kind of like hold up, I don't know what that was, hold up a card like this, and so I can see it in the video. I was like, strength is talking to me. What's going on with that? And I feel like she is the remedy. She is the balanced siren. So that brings us back to this like archetype here. And this is real feminine power in its most beautiful and glorified. And so typically we see like a lion here, and this woman sometimes has her face like inside of the lion's mouth. And so there's a trust here. She and the lion, which is something so wild, so ferocious, so intense, which think of like the siren energy. There is so much potential for power here. But she has developed this trust with the lion, and the lion trusts her, that then there is this deeper strength than even the ferocious strength, because they have this like tandem relationship and this it's like a feminine, I'm missing a word here, but I think you basically know what I'm saying. And I know my sweet Mariah is very pregnant right now, and I don't know how many months she is, but I feel like it's like the archetype of the feminine power just like shining down on you, like you have got this, like you are so powerful, and your body naturally will know what to do, and you will like smoothly and successfully, and just because of the trust, you will have just an easeful, I just see you having such an easeful birth and being such a natural mother with that like fierce, balanced feminine strength. So really excited for you about this, and I can't wait to meet your little peanut. Oh my gosh, all these babies coming into the world. Symbiosis. Yes, thank you, Mom. I love that. Yeah, natural symbiosis. Cool. All right, and then Mama Bear. I'll happily pull one for you too. I'm pulling a card for Katie for her highest good and the highest good of all. Mom, you got the Two of Wands. 2 more months, she says. That's so cool. So the Two of Wands, Mom, this just makes me think of, okay, well, first I'll share what it is. Typically we see a man standing at the edge of an ocean, and he has these 2 staffs next to him. He's holding the world in his hand, and he's looking out at some of his ships are going out to seek new things, and yet he is staying on the ground where he is, and he literally has a world of possibilities in his hand. Wands are about passion and inspiration, and so what I feel this card is saying to you is kind of going to echo the thing I always say to you, which is like there's a creative project that wants to be that wants to come through you. It's not that you have to give up all the things that you're already doing, because you can still be on the land and be grounded, but to send out the ships to explore new horizons, because I think there's something that will bring you great joy and excitement, and passion and some sort of like creative endeavor that is calling to you like a siren. But don't worry, it won't drown you. Maybe the siren was too much, I don't know. But Mom, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm feeling like all the creative projects you've been telling me about, I won't say them on here because they're top secret, but yeah. She says, you're right, I get lazy and nervous about it, but I need to keep at it. I mean, the thing with creative projects is that we always doubt ourselves so much. We're like, oh, it doesn't really matter. It's like not that big of a deal. That's why having coaches is actually really helpful, because we get a spark of an idea. It's really cool. We're excited about it, but then how do we start? And oh my gosh, it's a way bigger project than I thought it would be. And how do I keep the momentum going to do this? So it's totally normal to feel all those things. It doesn't mean that you're lazy. What it means is that you're human. And to get a support system in place, maybe it's one day a week, you put a reminder on your phone, and instead of, putzing around on Facebook in the evening, like I know sometimes you do, you could spend an hour once a week working on your creative project. So I think it's little baby steps, and then you kind of get the momentum going. You got this. But yeah, Spirit keeps saying that to you, so I'm just the messenger. Do not shoot the messenger. Cool. So Gayatri, absolutely, I will pull a card for you, my dear. Okay, pulling a card for Gayatri for her highest good and the highest good of all. Boom, girl. Magician. The Magician is the one, and this is basically what my mom's message was too, I think, is really the one who takes the guidance from Spirit, the things that are popping into the field from the imaginal realms, and grounds them and brings them into the physical plane for his highest good and for the highest good of all. And I just feel like this is the most badass card in the whole deck. He is, all of the cards have their dose of medicine and their light and their dark, but the Magician, whenever I pull that, it's like a very positive sort of go for it, like yes from the universe. So trust in the magic that you are cultivating and continue doing the work that you're doing, even if it's not showing results or whatever right away. You have this manifesting power for a reason, and Spirit wants to support you. So also call on Spirit to help you in this process of bringing it into the earth plane. Yes, yes. Savannah, are you still here? Do you want a card too? I think she just popped off, maybe. Well, I might pull a card for myself then. Oh, I love all the ladies that are here tonight. Ah, magic is right. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card for myself to kind of just anchor myself for the week as well. For my highest good and the highest good of all. Six of Cups. I feel like this is like more inner child healing, which is perfect. If you guys weren't here when I was sharing the art I was making this week, I feel like the stuff that's coming through me is weird and potent and ugly and amazing, and I'm ready for more, so bring it on. Here we go. Got paused there for a second. So I guess I'll just wrap up. Again, our archetype for tonight, if this is resonating, is the Siren. And I do want to just read what it says in the book here as well about the Siren, because I am still slightly perplexed why that showed up, but I do find it very interesting. Siren, page 97. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters. And the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, down, down to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Try as we might, resisting the call might not even be an option unless, like Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. Interesting. So something is calling us, and I feel like for many of us it's a creative call, something that wants to be manifested, that, you know, the Two of Wands, the Magician, I can't even remember a card I just pulled for myself. Oh yeah. Mine wasn't, but and how can we dance with her? How can we dance with her as our muse? How can we celebrate with this sensual nature with life? And it says, when it's in the light, this archetype is awakened sensuality, absorption, arousal. When it's dark, it's wicked, adultery, wreckage, betrayal, insatiability. And it says to go deeper, look at J.W. Waterhouse's nymph paintings and Lana Del Rey's album Ultraviolence. Interesting. Embodying the siren archetype requires that we explore things that are taboo. The siren laughs at conventions and constraints. She eats rules. Wow. Other iterations of the siren archetype include the nymph, the mermaid, and the fairy. They often come in sets of 3 as a trinity of temptation. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what this means for us this week. Aya says, yum. Yeah, I just feel like that it does kind of echo that 3 of Cups energy. Dancing with delight, dancing with our inner child, dancing with the sensuality, not going overboard, you know, keeping it in balance. But there's something calling us, and can we allow ourselves to really listen? I think that actually makes sense to me. I feel like spirit is my siren, and it's like coming through in all these different ways when I paint, when I'm making music, when I'm dancing, and it's like this connection to spirit is so orgasmic. It's like the best feeling in the whole world, and it's kind of addictive. And yet I know that there is a balanced way to be grounded on the earth plane and to be with spirit. So I invite you to find that yourself, and to find this nugget of nectar inside of your heart and inside of your body, and to do the work by showing up to access that attitude of gratitude this week. And my mom says, I love that you really don't know. It seems the call is the important part. Yes. So listen to the call and trust your hearts, and let me know what comes of it. I'm so excited to hear back from you guys. Lots of love to all of you. My deep pleasure to hold space with you tonight and each Tuesday. I may or may not be hosting next week. If so, I'll be in Florida, and I'll send you guys a tropical dose of sunshine. I might not feel up to it though, so we'll see. But either way, have an amazing week, and reach out if you need some support. Okay, take care.